While the Africa Cup of Nations is drawing to an end and the time to crown a new champion is only 2 days away, the 2021 champion Senegal and tournament host Morocco will be battling it out in the final on Sunday night, while Nigeria and Egypt will go to battle tomorrow for the bronze medal at the tournament. Now, to talk to us about this, we've roped in FarPost Editor Mthokozisi Dube all the way from Morocco. Mtho, I know you miss home, but it's just a couple of more days left until you're back in South Africa. I want to talk about the road to the final and what this has looked like for both Senegal as well as Morocco, because we spoke earlier on about just 1 and 2 in the continent, making a very fitting final. Give me your thoughts just ahead of kickoff come Sunday night on where you think, how you think it's going to play out.
Very interesting AFCON, very competitive. I mean, when you went into the semi-finals, you couldn't tell who was going to get into the final or who was going to win the final, because all 4 teams were, looked capable of winning the final. Most interestingly, all local coaches, African coaches, taking charge of these teams. This is the first time in a long time that we have just African coaches in the last 4. The last 2 still African coaches. So it's been an incredible tournament, very competitive, and look, it's anyone's game, and between Senegal and Morocco on Sunday.
And I mean, a conversation we were having on SABC Sports when we were hosting Michael Owen during the semi-final between Senegal as well as Egypt was just the yellow cards and how they are affecting the game in terms of players that are going to miss out on this final. You look at a Kalidou Koulibaly for the 2nd time in his career, will miss out on the final. Well, he was always going to be doubtful after being substituted off with an injury. But you look at a Diarra as well, very key players for the Senegal team that miss out on the final due to those suspensions.
Very interesting. I mean, when I saw Kalidou Koulibaly picking that yellow card, which was a bit reckless of him, I was a bit concerned, for Senegal. But saw Mamadou Sarr step in, 20-year-old defender. Belongs to Chelsea, but is on loan now at Strasbourg in France. He stepped in and he just looked at home, in that centre-back position. So I don't think Coach Tia will be worrying a lot, especially in that position, because I think he's got a lot of quality. You look through the Senegal squad, they've got quality, all around the squad. I mean, I was surprised to see Issa Sarr coming off the bench, and I'm thinking, okay, this is an incredible player, but he's sitting on the bench. So they do have a lot of quality. I don't think they will miss especially Koulibaly at the back, because Sarr, I think he was making his 3rd appearance and established himself against Egypt, defended very well. So I do think they have enough arsenal to still compete against the hosts, Morocco.
And I think when you look at Sarr, certainly one for the future. The youngster has a very bright future ahead of him. Let's then talk in terms of the 2 coaches. You've got Walid, who is unbeaten as the coach of Morocco, coming up against Tiao, of course, taking over from Aliou Cisse. From a tactical point of view, how do you see that battle shaping up? Because many saying it's going to be very interesting seeing Brahim Diaz, Achraf Hakimi coming up against Mane and Diop, and that could be just the defining players in terms of the outcome of this final.
I'm looking at these 2 teams, the road to the final. You look at the fact that Morocco has not conceded a goal in open play until now in the competition. The only goal they considered was against Mali, which was a penalty. So they defend very well. You look at how they played against Nigeria's team that had scored 14 goals in 5 games going into that semi-final. They have a way of keeping you at bay. They don't allow you to get into dangerous zones. They manage you very well, and I expect them to do that against Senegal. But I think Senegal were tested against Egypt because they had to dig deep. Egypt, were as compact as, Morocco have been, throughout. And then on the other hand, Senegal as well, they've conceded 3 goals, but they've scored more than Morocco. So it's going to be a very interesting, contest, in terms of both sides, trying to unlock each other and get that goal. We may possibly see a similar scenario to what we saw between Senegal and Egypt, where Sadio Mane ended up scoring a goal from just outside the box, because it's difficult to penetrate and get into the box and score. So it's going to be a very, very tough one, and I would predict a very narrow scoreline.
Very narrow scoreline. Let me, before I get your thoughts on who's winning the final, that bronze final, just give me the nation between Egypt and Nigeria. Who's walking away with the bronze?
Nigeria.
Nigeria will be walking away with the bronze medal. The Super Eagles will take anything at this stage, but they certainly would have wanted that gold. And when we look at that final, then the host nation, Morocco, coming up against the 2021 champions.
I've said from the onset that Senegal, for me, are solid. They've got a very good squad. But besides just the talent that they have, I think they're a very mature team. They don't play. They're not too adventurous. They're very calculated in how they play. I think they understand tournament football. Khalidou Koulibaly told me that they don't have to play fancy. They just want to get in there and get the result and move. So I think that kind of approach should see them beat the hosts in front of 70,000 people in Rabat.
Thank you so much, Mthokozisi Dube. That is the editor of FarPost, joining us live from Morocco. And of course, it's just building up to that big final. You have the Lions of Teranga, a team that has conceded 2 goals in this tournament, coming against the host of Morocco, ranked #1 in the continent. They've only conceded 1 goal, and that was a penalty against Mali out in the group stages. It is certainly going to be an exciting one.